Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, the Red Queen Tarot. Today we're doing a pick a card reading for the new moon solar eclipse happening October 25th at 7 a.m. Eastern Time. And I'm going to start this presentation with some background information, correspondences with the degree of the zodiac in which it's happening. So if you don't want to hear about the astrology or connections for this eclipse, I will leave timestamps below and you can go ahead and skip to your pile selection. But I'm going to begin by letting you know that I'm going to talk about this eclipse in the sidereal astrology, which operates on fixed stars. Now, most of the tropical astrologers will show you that this eclipse is occurring at 2 degrees of Scorpio, and in sidereal astrology it'll be actually 7 degrees and 50 minutes of Libra. In both instances, the planet Venus is involved here. It's conjunct the sun and moon. And what's special about Venus is that just 2 days before the eclipse, Venus and the sun form a conjunction on their own. This is no ordinary conjunction. Every 8 years, the sun and Venus make a special conjunction in one of 5 signs of the zodiac, creating what is known as a star point. For more detailed information on this, I will refer you to an astrologer who wrote the book on the subject, Ariel Gutman. Her website is sophiavenus.com. But after 5 cycles of 8-year conjunctions, so 40 years, the Sun and the Venus conjunction points form a pentagram pattern in the sky. This conjunction sparks the beginning of a new 8-year cycle for Venus. With this conjunction, along with the new moon occurring in the sign of Libra, which is ruled by Venus, and Libra rules the 7th house of partnerships. Venus is the ruler of love and beauty and what we value, and also how we value ourselves. So we can see a new beginning between partners, new alliances, or dissolution of partnerships that were no longer serving our best and highest good. New moon eclipses are often for pulling in new energy, but because this eclipse is occurring close to the south lunar node, but not quite conjunct because it's about 10 degrees away, it can also indicate endings before the rebirth and the start of a new cycle. So at nearly 8 degrees of Libra, that means this eclipse is occurring in the first decan, meaning the first 10 degrees of the sign of Libra. As I mentioned in the last video, every decan has a corresponding tarot card. The first decan of Libra is ruled by the Two of Swords. Okay. The astrological correspondence for this card is the position of the moon in Libra. So coincidentally, we do have a new moon in Libra for this eclipse. Libra is the mind, and the moon is changeable as it waxes and wanes in cycles, meaning we have the freedom to change our minds when new information is introduced, allowing us to see a situation from another perspective. The Two of Swords can be called the Little Priestess because it echoes the symbolism of the High Priestess and the Justice cards of the major arcana, as I've kept here. So the High Priestess is also a number 2 card, as you'll see here. And is also ruled by the moon, like the Two of Swords, and they're both pictured here. The moon is there and the moon is at her feet. And the Justice card is number 11, which can appear as 2 Roman numeral 1s. Both Justice and the High Priestess are surrounded by pillars, which look like 2 1s. The left and the right, black and white, feminine, masculine, conscious and subconscious. Both figures sit between the pillars, indicating both figures are depolarized from either side. They're not being biased or pulled by their emotions, therefore giving them mental access to be impartial observers to both sides. In the case of the High Priestess, she guards the veil behind her. She's a keeper of secrets and acts as a gatekeeper to the spirit and underworld and the subconscious mind. The woman crossing 2 swords, swords being the suit of air, Libra is an air sign, signifying the mind, mental, thinking, and judgment, indicates that she is weighing 2 options in her mind. It depicts a meditative state that helps us find peaceful refuge from mental chatter of the mind. The water in the background of the card signifies the subconscious, as does the moon that rules it and the High Priestess card. The Two of Swords figure is blindfolded. We often hear the words blind justice, indicating the unbiased and fair discernment of a court hearing. The blindfold indicates trusting the intuition, the third eye, and not the physical eyes, to feel the truth. The Ace of Swords that precedes the Two of Swords card indicates an idea. The second sword introduces an opposing idea or force. This card encourages us to give your opponent and your opposing viewpoint a fair assessment, allowing new information to enter your existing paradigm so you can learn something new. Giving space for the opposition to exist without judgment is peace of mind. As my mentor indicates and says before, love is allowing. So we're allowing your opposition to exist. One cannot exist without the other in order to achieve balance. See the Two of Swords as two breaths, one inhale, one exhale. Peace is witnessing both of those in your mind as essential. In the Aleister Crowley deck, the Thoth Tarot, the Justice card is number 11, is called Adjustment. This operates on the principle that all life vibrates at a natural frequency, and we are called to tune and adjust our thoughts and speech to this natural frequency, observing where and how far from center we have been pulled out by outside influences. Sitting quietly in meditation, as the Two of Swords shows, can allow us to recalibrate our own frequency and realign with the path we may have strayed from. Two of Swords also indicates that we're not alone on our path. We have a companion, the divine, your loved ones, your teachers. This new moon may also be influenced by a fixed star Vendemiatrix, the Great Harvestress, at 9 degrees 50 minutes of Libra, making the eclipse a full 2 degrees away. The star's orb of influence only covers 1 degree 40 minutes, but this would be the closest star to the eclipse. So Kabbalah associates this star with the third major trump card, the Empress, and the Hebrew letter Gimel. In Gematria, Gimel is number 3. And here's the High Priestess card for your reference, which is number 3. And the way it's written resembles a foot. It's traditionally believed to resemble a person in motion, symbolically a rich man running after a poor man to give him charity. Gimel is related to Gemul, G-E-M-U-L, which means justified repayment, or the giving of reward and punishment. And here we've been talking about justice. To me, this sounds like karma, justice being served, maybe damages paid by an offending company or person to a victim. In context of the recent Hebrew New Year, September 26th and 27th, we've completed a 7-year cycle known as the Shemitah, which means release, in which debts were forgiven. This could be more loan forgiveness too, or something to do with the economy, maybe more stimulus checks or tax cuts. Okay, so back to this fixed star Vendemiatrix. As I said, the Kabbalah links this star to the Empress card, which is ruled by the planet Venus, as indicated on her shield here, the symbol of Venus. Venus in the Empress is the mother, abundant, protective, nurturing, fruitful, and fertile. When a crop is ripe, see all the wheat surrounding her here? It's harvested, and that harvest can be used to sustain family or sell it for wealth. The Shemitah year is also indicating a break from farming and the land, and it was given 1 year to rest and rejuvenate. The planet Venus will be closer to this fixed star than the actual sun and moon eclipse because it's slightly ahead of the sun and moon, so it'll actually be on this star point. It generally indicates abundance and fruitfulness, but in the charts of eclipses, it can portend events concerning kings and heads of state as an ominous sign. The star is also known as the Widowmaker and can mark the death of a partner, Libra being the sign of partnership. Could this indicate the death of a certain political alliance, perhaps, or an actual end to a political leader, as in harvesting the head of state? If not literally, then symbolically. The U.S. elections are approaching 2 weeks after this eclipse on November 8th, the date of the full moon lunar eclipse, and lunar eclipses are notorious for releasing. So I'll get into that eclipse when it gets time to do that, but it'll also be opposing Uranus, or in conjunction with Uranus, I'm sorry. So that's the unexpected. So we could see a lot of shocking election results. So now moving on to some other perspectives, other astrological systems. In Chinese lunar astrology, this eclipse will occur in the 27th lunar mansion known as the Wing of the Phoenix. Perhaps this is indicating the rise of a new head of state following the fall or voting out of an old leader. In Vedic and Hindu astrology, they also use lunar mansions known as nakshatras. This eclipse occurs within the 15th nakshatra, Swati, S-W-A-T-I. Themes for this lunar mansion are striving for independence, Libra is partnership, maybe breaking up, philanthropy for educational institutions, like student loan forgiveness, perhaps, travel, tourism, the aviation industry, and fluctuating relationships or partners. The symbol of Swati is a young plant ready to face the test of time. Young plants are flexible and restless. The ruling deity is Vayu, V-A-Y-U, who promotes creativity, artistry, and freedom. The planet Venus here also values art and beauty. It's often said that new moons are a time for planting metaphorical seeds, like beginning new projects, ideas, or routines, and watering them with your attention and energy and dedication to nurture their growth. Find the house in your natal chart where 8 degrees of Libra falls, and that will tell you where to focus your intention, where to plant your seeds to create new energies in that area of your life. Finally, I'm going to discuss the Sabian symbol associated with the 8 degrees of Libra. The Sabian symbols are a collection of 360 channeled messages, one for each degree of the zodiac wheel. These were compiled in 1925 by psychic medium Elsie Wheeler and astrologer Mark Edmund. There are resources online if you want to do more research on this topic and find a list of each degree and its corresponding vision or meaning. The symbol at 8 degrees of Libra is a blazing fireplace in a deserted home. This indicates the need to realize that even through the most empty hours, a spiritual power is ever ready to welcome and warm up the wayward consciousness, returning it to its center, the peace of mind and balance as illustrated in the Two of Swords. The element of fire represents spirit, and until the fire of the soul within the human psyche totally dies out, a rare and tragic occurrence, there is always hope of a recovery and a renewal, a new beginning. Many disciples find themselves compelled to abandon their spiritual quest, even after having had a sense of essential being. Yet the home that once received them, the Guru's love, remains ready to welcome the return of the prodigal sons. Within the abandoned great dream, some intangible and warm presence remains, ever reminiscent of hope for a new beginning. So if you have abandoned a spiritual quest, Spirit's not abandoned you. It leaves the light on for you so you can find your way back home and be greeted with love and open arms. This is perfect for a new moon solar eclipse. It's offering the opportunity to return to center, return to self. Quiet the mind, sit by the fire and stare into it. Listen to the source of consciousness by getting your racing thoughts to stop going back and forth from past to present or past to future, and stay present in the center. Reconnect with self and the voice that you abandoned within that led you to stray away from your path as we seek to adjust ourselves back to our natural frequency, without the noise of influence of the past, future, or outside world. Fire also represents passion, so reconnect with it, what you are passionate about, and invest your energy into watering your own garden. Okay, hopefully you enjoyed this assessment on the different symbols associated with this astrological occurrence. I'm going to go ahead and put the timestamps for each pile below, but take your time to meditate on each pile. I've done something a little different this time. I put runes. I did randomly pull these, so I'll read about them for each pile. But this first one is man. And the second, Othala. And the third is Berkano or Bjork. I'm pretty new to runes, so I'm just getting familiar with them, but I did read about each one of these and took some notes for you. I'll also reference the book about them. But go ahead and make your selection, and we'll see you in your selected pile. Thanks. All right, pile 1. You've chosen the man rune for your reading. And I'll start out with that description. What it means to be human, exploring yourself in relation to other humans as children of God. It has to do with shared experience, not just we're all made of dust and will return to dust, but it has to do with community and partnership. Cooperation is essential in a harsh environment. And from the book, I'm going to reference a little more detail. So Manez is the human archetype, the rune of Heimdall, father of mankind, that identifies humanity as progeny of the gods. It is man as a manifestation of the divine, the expression of fulfillment of human potential, intelligence, reason, memory, tradition, In addition, he sees it as the archetypal androgen. It is the room of Mani, the moon, the synthesis of intuition and rationality, transformation and essence. The identification of the M rune with the moon suggests all sort of additional associations. The man in the moon, the relationship between the moon and fertility, moon cycles in woman and man, spiritual inheritance to access to the collective unconscious. All of these are very similar to the concepts associated with the sphere of Yesod in Kabbalah, which governs physical fertility and access to the astral realm of images. Heimdall is identified in the mythology as the father of mankind who begot the progenitors of the three classes of humankind, rulers, farmers, and servants, and is the special champion of Freya who rules fertility of nature. Let's go ahead and take a look at your Queen of the Moon Oracle to start the reading. Pleasure, number 18. And 18 in Hebrew is also associated with gifts, giving and receiving. So this is pleasure, the waning gibbous. So this is directly after a full moon. Let's see what pleasure has to say. Are you taking life too intensively or too seriously? This time has come to call in the pleasures of life. Seek lightheartedness at this time. Focus on what you would to make you happy. Schedule in activities you find pleasurable. I open myself to the pleasures of life. So, in our search for a better life, something happened along the way. We forgot how to find real pleasure in what we do rather than just being diverted from the everyday. Life can be overwhelming, and our rational mind seems to need every available minute of our time to be able to cope with its demands. Pleasure has taken the back seat, or there is a pattern of it now forming destructive tendencies, such as binge drinking rather than simply having a wine or two with friends. A big part of pleasure is letting go. This does not mean surrendering or giving up. It simply means handing over all our administration, stress, and worries for a time and immersion ourselves in something joyful. When we don't allow ourselves to experience pleasure, whether in all forms of laughter, play, sensuality, or the development of skill, we remain less than the whole and feel a wanting. No fun actually makes us dull indeed. Over time, we are much less effective in our emotional and work lives if we do not experience regular doses of pleasure. Our ancient ancestors knew the importance of pleasure in the forming of a healthy mind, body, and spirit. There were gods and goddesses dedicated to happiness and the pleasures of life, such as the Egyptian goddess Hathor. The temples of Hathor were joyful places, full of songs and beauty. There were even small temples placed in her honor outside other major deities' temples so that people could be in a happy and contented mental mood before entering to worship. The Egyptians clearly believed that having a positive or relaxed state of mind assisted in having a positive spiritual connection. The companion stone or metal is turquoise. Okay. So again, with the rune of man or manez, it could be speaking of shared experiences. Some of you could be coming together and sharing your gifts, your talents, and abilities with people around you that brings you joy and by proxy brings them joy. Some of you could be communing for a party or a get-together. So there's some kind of fun in your life that is, they're encouraging you to invite in. All right, so we have 3 tarot cards here. The Star, 17th Major Arcana, ruled by Aquarius. And then we have the Hierophant, another Major Arcana, number 5, ruled by Taurus. And the Two of Swords. All right, this is the card that's associated with the new moon solar eclipse. So if you didn't watch the intro, I encourage you to go back and do so because I did discuss the relevance of the Two of Swords at length. So I'm not going to belabor it here. But again, kind of not being stuck in the past or the future, staying present, finding peace and balance in your mind. Again, maybe some of you have been overworking too much and you haven't left a lot of room for pleasure or happiness. With the 2 major arcana here, the Star and the Hierophant. The Hierophant can be your boss, your job, organized religion, something like that. Some of your daily responsibilities. And the Star to me is like, this is where you shine. This is, you're in the spotlight, you're fulfilling your purpose, you're feeling pleasure, and you're just in a flow state of enjoyment. So this could be you trying to schedule and balance out your time to where you feel you're not overly extended in one area or the other. Okay, next we have our Syrian starseed. We have the Eight of Orbs, Eight of Swords. Very interesting. So we have the blindfold symbolism coming up twice now. Here she's blindfolded, and here in the Eight of Swords is also blindfolded. And these are also, again, swords, so it's the mind. This is the mental prison, being trapped in your mind, feeling stuck. And that can be indicated in the Two of Swords as well, too, when she has them crossed over her heart. And, you know, your solar plexus chakra, which leads your direction. It's your ego, your will, and your path. And if you're feeling bound or constrained at this time, maybe this is a good opportunity for you to examine where maybe this Hierophant is imposing rules or restrictions on you, and whether that aligns with your truth or not, which is the Star. Next to that, we have our, I'm going to do the archetype card, the Queen, okay? Number 11. Now, number 11 is the Justice card in the traditional tarot, and I also compared that. That is related to this Two of Swords as well. So some of you could have strong Libra in your chart, Gemini, Aquarius, or it could just be speaking of this time frame. And this looks like a full moon, I think, in the center of this card. But we have the lotus flower, and there's also a snake, I believe, in her hand. And Libra precedes the sign of Scorpio. And in tropical zodiac, we are having this eclipse in Scorpio. So when I see a snake, I think of rebirth, because they shed their skin. Whenever they outgrow their skin, they have to shed it in order to expand, because the box they were in no longer fits. The same with the lotus flower here. You know, it's a symbol of birth, rebirth, growth through adversity, because the lotus flower, the Buddha said, even the beautiful lotus flower comes from the muddiest of waters. So it starts in the darkness. It's a deep-seated plant that has to push its way through the darkness, not knowing when or where the surface of the water is, but it makes it, and it blooms to receive this light, this life-giving light on the surface. So it's an evolutionary process. It's through trials and tribulations you come out like a phoenix rising from the ashes on the other side. So I'm going to read about the Queen card here. This could be some of you embracing your divine feminine energy and really pouring your heart and soul and love into it. And that's what's going to allow you to blossom. If you're maybe have been neglecting your feminine side. Let's see if, which again goes back to the Empress and the creativity that I was speaking of in the intro. And let's see, number 11. All right, the Empress, there it is, the Queen Mother, the Sovereign. Like her counterpart, the King, the Queen has a dualistic nature. Either she presides over the realm with grace and eloquence that comes from the heavens to uplift the spirit of others, or she falls into a petty, contemptuous mood, casting a shadow across the land. If the King is the ego, the Queen is the expression of that ego in the world. She is the lotus's bloom, the dancer's bow, the moon's radiant reflection. When the Queen is seated in her rightful and righteous place, she is patient and forgiving. She waits for the grace of God and Goddess to move through her, striving and grasping for nothing. To be the benevolent leader, to embody the Queen, is to settle into deep trust, resolve, and power. The royal Queen fears nothing, for divinity itself cradles her heart. Read Cleopatra's monologue in Shakespeare's Antony and Cleopatra, Act 5, Scene 2. Then read about Inanna, Tara, and Hera. Inanna was the Queen of Heaven. I recently read about her myth where she descends into the underworld, and this has to do with Venus too, in order to meet her sister, who is, I think, the Queen of the Underworld or Queen of the Dead. And her sister actually ends up killing her. And then through the help of the gods, she's resurrected and brought out of hell. So that occurs whenever Venus goes retrograde, and I'm not sure exactly when that happens. It's not till 2023. But where Venus goes from her morning star phase, where she appears as a star in the morning, versus the evening star, where she'll appear in the night sky. Right now, she's an evening star. But we did discuss the cycle of Venus, the Sun and Venus making a conjunction in Libra at a star point. It just starts a whole new 8-year cycle for Venus. So this creative energy, this rebirth, it feels like it's coming for you. Again, with the star here, it's something that's destined. It's something that maybe you've been working towards. balancing and opening yourself towards this opportunity. But it's kind of, I don't want to say victim mentality, but it may look like some of you are sitting here waiting to be rescued. But I'm not certain that that's a bad thing yet, because it's not an external rescue. It's a rescue of your mind. It's like there's a part of you maybe that you have pushed down, locked away, and hidden, forgotten about. And now this is you descending into your subconscious, into your underworld, where you have forgotten that you used to tread, somewhere that used to bring you a lot of pleasure, a lot of joy. And this could be you reopening that door, kind of freeing that forgotten self from a mental prison of, oh, I can't do that anymore. I'm too old, or my ship has sailed. I haven't, I missed my boat and there's no hope now. I'm stuck here forever. But that's not the case. So, again, the Queen is seated in her rightful and righteous place. She is patient and forgiving. She waits for the grace of God and Goddess to move through her, striving and grasping for nothing. So again, it's that feminine energy. It's the passivity, waiting for the energy to flow through you and take action. You're not out there seeking, trying to conquer, manipulate, and control. That's a very masculine energy, to take action. This is telling you to sit in peace, reflect, and take no action. Observe. This is what we need to do right now. The Queen is to settle into deep trust, resolve, and power. So the Queen does not accept the hand of a prince, but claims the throne, knowing the king draws near. She is a magnet for the fully embodied masculine and entertains nothing less. The embodiment of grace, courage, resolve, and stillness. Okay. So a lot of you are being called to step forward and become the queen of your own life. Okay, so I'm looking at this crown here because I did pull a goddess guidance card for every pile. And since we're talking about queens and royalty, we have Damara, guiding children. You are good at helping, counseling, and healing children. Use your skills to help children now. Okay, so some of you might be a teacher, or you might be called to be a teacher here with the Hierophant, with this organized, what's it called, institution. Your destiny may be actually teaching the next generation, not necessarily young children, but a queen is a leader and a ruler of her kingdom, so queendom. This could be people look up to you also. And in our Oracle of Mystical Wisdom, we have the letting go, learn to let go. Perfect. Yeah, as we're approaching this new moon solar eclipse, or even the time between the eclipses, the new moon and the full moon, because the full moon is about releasing. This could be, again, taking this new moon time to go inward, reflect, analyze, and release. And of these blockages, unblock your heart, unblock your mind. Just recognize what isn't yours. Where did some of these blockages come from? They're not from you. They're from an outside source that said you can't do that, or, you're a woman, or you're a man, or you're a child, or you're too old. All these qualifiers that people want to put on you. And this is you unblocking that. This is freeing your mind and your heart from those limiting beliefs that other people put in your way. There's butterflies on this card. I mean, you're often, when you release, you have to sacrifice. You have to let something go. And sometimes our mind can tell us that, it's scary, or, it's not in our best interest. But this is telling you there's something better on the other side. You can't remain a caterpillar forever, or else you'll never fly. You'll never grow. You'll never experience all the beauty that life has to offer. So stop limiting yourself. All right. Next to that, we have a Lenormand card. I just pulled one for every pile. Okay, number 38, the bridge. Okay, this could be making connections. I mentioned that this new moon eclipse is in Libra, so that's partnerships. This could be building bridges, making professional and personal connections that are either going to get you in this position of power as the Hierophant and the Star. But this is very much about building up connections, not breaking them down. So these are opportunities that are coming towards you. And finally, we have our Journey of Love card. Since Venus is involved in this new moon solar eclipse, we have the Heart Fire. Beautiful. Okay. In case you didn't watch the intro, I would like to go, again, refer you to that, because I mentioned the Sabian symbol. at 8 degrees of Libra. And I'm going to brief that really quickly. But the symbol here is a blazing fireplace in a deserted home. And they say like home is where the heart is, right? So this is speaking to, again, a forgotten spiritual power or passion, right? This indicates the need to realize that even through the most empty hours, a spiritual power is ever ready to welcome and warm up the wayward consciousness, return it to its center, the peace of mind and balance as illustrated in this Two of Swords, which rules this eclipse. The element of fire represents spirit, and until the fire of the soul within the human psyche totally dies out, there's always hope of recovery and a new beginning. And within the abandoned great dream, some intangible and warm presence remains, and ever reminiscent hope for a new beginning. So if you've abandoned your spiritual quest, Spirit has not abandoned you. It leaves the light on for you so you can find your way back home and be greeted with love and open arms. Okay, and let's gonna read about, fire also represents passion. So reconnect with what it is you're passionate about and invest your energy into watering your own garden. So now I'm going to read from the book about what the heart fire is from the Journey of Love. That's the first card, actually. I just noticed that, number 1. This is the initiation. I mean, everything starts with a spark, right? I mentioned like reconnecting with a part of yourself that was forgotten. It's like relighting a pilot within you. The pilot light on like a gas heater or stove or whatever. I mean, that pilot's still lit. It never went out, actually. But you're actually using that spark to ignite a full-on flame. Passion is igniting within you. It's not a time when things will remain still, even if the change is only sensed as a subtle stirring underneath the surface of things. Even if slow at first, passion will unfold from within your heart, soon to be burning bright like a sun, unrestrained. You are learning how to ride waves of passion, through eruptions of heat and descent into coolness, bearing the absence of fire only to realize it as returning to you again. Ride its waves, knowing that passionate bliss will always return to a heart that is on fire with love for life. The coolness allows us to experience the heat. Once you realize that the fire emerging from within you will ebb and flow, you will trust in its presence. You will realize that whether your passion fire is obvious, drawing you into life, or dwelling quietly within, gaining power from the deepest sources of your being, soon to rise once more, it is a constant in your heart. Accept the fire of your heart and know that this is how you are meant to be, on fire with love for all that is. This oracle brings a message for you. Trust the passion and the fire of your heart to guide your decisions now. What would make you feel most alive? Choose that. If you're feeling a lack of genuine passion in your life, take comfort that it is awakening in your own heart now, bringing something that has been long in rest back to life. Yeah. And we started this reading also with the pleasure card. It's like, what makes you happy? What makes you feel alive with spirit? What makes you feel present? So that hopefully you enjoyed that, pile 1. Let's see if there's anything else I can add to this. I'm going to actually get these Making Magic cards, these little pip cards that, can be used in sigil magic, or in my case, just to enhance the message here. What is it that pile 1 can add to their reading? I usually pull 3 of these. Okay, so the first one, we have the sun. The golden energy of the sun brings fame and fortune. Yeah, with the star there, the star card, that can also indicate fame. You're becoming a star. You might draw attention this month, eclipse energy can last up to 6 months. So, and the sun rules Leo, which is children and pleasure and fun and games, youthful energy. So focus more on playing and less on working, perhaps. I mentioned that kind of conflict of balance in your life that might exist in the beginning. Next to that, we have the elements. The elements of fire, air, earth, and water combine to create powerful protective boundaries, spiritual, mental, physical, and emotional. So here we're mentioning fire again. But again, in the theme of Libra, maintaining balance of those. And finally, Awen, 3 rays of light, balance male and female energies, peace and harmony. Yep. 2 swords, 2 pillars. That balance achieving. Again, if maybe your energy has been more masculine, maybe it's time to be more feminine, or vice versa. Okay, pile 1. I believe that is all I have for you for this eclipse. I hope you have enjoyed the reading. If so, let me know in the comments below. If you're drawn to another pile, feel free to select it at this time. Otherwise, we'll see you at the next reading. Take care. Thanks. Hello, pile 2, and welcome to your reading. You have chosen the rune Othala. Okay, I'm going to start off with an assessment of that rune. Again, I'm pretty new to these, but learning about them, I took some notes, and I'll read a selection from the book as well. All right, so Othala, the letter O, that contains the power. It's the last of all the runes. There's 24, and this is the final one. And it's associated with the Greek letter Omega, which means the end of a cycle. We're at the death and rebirth phase of our life. It deals with ancestral property, holy heart home, legacy, for clan of kin of mind and body, family or clan strongholds, sacred enclosure, wise management of resources and prosperity of family, a state of balance by the way between order and chaos. The rune of Odin can indicate a new home, productive interaction with outsiders. Okay, so from the rune book, Othala is a combination of Gebo and Ingwaz and is called the gift of Ing. She sees the inheritance involved as genetic at the magic level. In ancient tradition, this meant the blood that was shed to take and to defend a territory. The land was secured for future generations by living on it and dying for it. This also refers to the mystery of the sacrificed king whose blood may be shed to renew the land. A corollary is the need to choose marriage partners carefully, for the blood and beliefs will become part of the future relationships between the family and the land. The Odal rune represents the virtue of loyalty towards one's family, village, and country. The rune incorporates a number of extremely powerful concepts of the sacred enclosure, like the protective circle, which is the letter O. Whether physical or psychic can be very useful. Whether or not one owns property, one can claim a sacred space in vision that will be inalienable refuge. This rune relates to the human need for both personal space and for a community to which to belong. Okay, and this rune may refer to an individual's family and place in his community. It may indicate living conditions, finding a house, or congenial roommates, for example. It could also refer to finding an affinity group or establishing a relationship to the land. So this can relate to the fact that also this eclipse is occurring in the sign of Libra, which rules partnerships, the 7th house astrology. So this could be, again, some of you going outside of your comfort zone, seeking out a new clan, a new group of like-minded beings, integrating those ideas, people, or philosophies into your own family, into your own group. So it could be a merging of minds, or cooperative effort, or simply defending your legacy, your family, your stronghold. We'll see how the cards read out. So, okay, well, we're going to start with the Queen of the Moon Oracle, and we got number 42, the masculine, the lunar god. So this does have a very masculine energy, obviously, of defense. I'm thinking of Mars, the god of war, and defending the family, defending the land, what you've earned and built as your own. Or you could be a strong masculine energy, your leader. Let's go ahead and see what your tarot cards show. The first is the Page of Cups, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. Could be a child. The Fool, new journey or beginning. Again, we mentioned Othala is the letter O, and here we have the 0, the circle, protective circle. This is, again, the Fool maybe wandering outside of that comfort zone, leaving his protective circle. And finally, we have, the 2 of Cups. Some of you are meeting a romantic partner, and this is, again, integrating someone into your family or your clan. You may already be engaged. You may already know this person. This could be just integrating. This is a marriage, the 2 of Cups. I mean, the Page of Cups is 1 cup, right? It's kind of a surprise. He's observing this fish in the cup. He wasn't expecting it to be there, but Hey, there's a fish. Plenty of fish in the sea, I'm hearing. So if maybe you think that there is no hope, that you'll never find your love, well, this might indicate that there is a partner for everybody, that there is a partner there. And here, this is ruled by Venus in Cancer, so this has Venus here. Venus is involved, the ruler of Libra, the 7th house of partnerships, and it's conjunct this new moon solar eclipse. And there is a full moon in the background here, another circle and another circle for Othala. Who are you allowing into your inner circle? Or this is, again, you leaving your comfort zone in order to meet said person or business partner or company or job opportunity. There's, again, you might be leaving one job in order to join another company and expand your horizons. So let's see what the Syrian Starseed Tarot card is. Okay, the 3 of Crystals. Yeah, I'm definitely getting a business vibe for a lot of you. This is building a strong foundation. It's 3 skilled craftsmen coming together, sharing their talents, gifts, and abilities, and integrating it in order to build something greater than themselves. This could also be referring to a holy trinity, masculine, feminine, and child. Like I said, the Page of Cups could be a child. Some of you could be coming together to form new life. Not for everybody, but it's possible. And that's an earth element. So this is something physical and tangible. And we mentioned in the beginning about defending the clan's land. This is a land that's inherited and given down, passed down from generation to generation. And that's something that was at one point a 3 of coins or 3 of crystals venture, which has probably grown into the 10 of pentacles, which is often known as the legacy coin. So let's see our archetype card. We have the womb, also appropriate for this Venus energy coming through for the eclipse. All right, number 46. And with 2 cups cards showing up here, it's very interesting. We started with the masculine, and now here we have the feminine. So if you're a masculine energy seeking a feminine counterbalance, this is probably the reading for you. But the womb is the source. It's creativity. It's the source of life. Just like the Fool card, everything starts with a void, with a 0, with a portal, and that's what the O is. So it's the womb is what are you birthing into this world? The 3 of coins, again, can indicate a business, an idea, some physical thing that you're pulling from the subconscious of the waters into the physical realm by way of the womb. And we all know that, you know, there's the lunar god. I'm actually going to read about that because a lot of cultures associate, you know, the feminine energy with the moon, but there is also the lunar god aspect. So number 42. It is time to step forward and lead. Be the leader of your own life. You have more power than you think. It is time to formally learn more. Enroll in a course or learn a new skill. Offer your protection to someone weaker than yourself. Take steps to improve your health and vitality. May the positive attributes of the masculine align with me. While lunar gods are rare, usually their realms are the solar. They are conspicuous when they appear. The Australian Aboriginal deity of the Warnosh tribal area encourages us to observe the laws of the land and to appreciate the beauty around us. It's depicted with having big eyes and no mouth, teaching us that sometimes beauty does not need to be spoken about, just witnessed with the eyes of our head and of our heart. The Norse god Mani, the moon himself, teaches us to be wise and about the passage of time. The Mesopotamian Sin shows us how to ask for the future and how important it is to protect the weak. There are many more. Traditional positive attributes of the masculine, such as strength, physical vitality, power of will, shielding and protecting of the weak, are important for anyone to adopt, no matter their gender or orientation. Should you pull this energy, it is asking you to step up into your power, your uniqueness, and offer your guidance to those who may need it. It's interesting, if you're coming from pile 1, it was very strongly focused on feminine energy. We had the Queen card show up as the archetype. So these 2 readings might be related. If you're feeling called to check out pile 1, maybe you want to do that. So I'm going to read about the womb then. And, you know, defending the homeland, protecting the weak, you know. Let's see. Womb. All right. The nest, the belly, the origin. Everything has an origin story. The womb archetype asks us to contemplate the beginning beyond the beginning, the mother beyond the mother. In a world that often negates the power and necessity of feminine principles, this card returns us to the warmth, tenderness, and sacred intelligence from which we came. It is a card of receiving, not achieving, of accepting love from the mother of us all. She is the life-giving force that forgives and cherishes even the most wounded and desperate soul. No matter how lost you are, the womb awaits your return to help you heal and grow. This card is a call to keep things simple, to return, to be reborn in the name of love. The womb is everywhere. It is beyond gender, beyond time. We are within it as it is within us. Same with the Fool card. This definitely resonates with it because, again, the 0 being a womb, it's a portal for all life to come through. So there's infinite potential here in order to plant these seeds and watch them grow, like these crystals are planted outside the shop. Okay. And more information on that card is nourishment, harmony, warmth, and love. What would honoring the feminine look like to you? Where would you begin? Imagine yourself as loved is a good place to start. Consider that Mother Earth must also have a mother. Imagine her. All right, so moving on then to our Mystical Wisdom Oracle. We have self-reliance. Don't be afraid to fly solo. Interesting. So that, to me, it speaks to that masculine leadership energy. It's lonely at the top, they say. She's got the crown on here. If some of you maybe feel like you have been held back by a certain partner, then maybe this new moon, this eclipse season is a good time to release that. But this is telling you that it's only making way, if that's your situation, making way for a new and better partner to come in and assist you. But let me read about self-reliance here. You have the courage and fortitude to lovingly assert yourself and your point of view, and also your boundaries by creating that circle of power around you. By doing so, you gain respect and support from your friends, families, and colleagues. It takes boldness and integrity to stand up for yourself and be counted, especially when no one else is supporting you. Trust yourself and value your own opinions and judgments. Flying solo is a challenge that takes courage and confidence. This is your road to freedom. Become lion-hearted and know that your best protection is your own spine. Interesting. Okay. And our Goddess Guidance card, we have Solace, bodies of water. Interesting how the Page of Cups and the Two of Cups showed up with those bodies of water. Spend time near water, such as a lake, river, or ocean, to recharge your batteries. So some of you with the Fool card might be taking a trip towards a body of water if you don't live near one. But water can be cleansing, purifying, rejuvenating. You might be asked to drink more water to help kind of flush out and any impurities in the body or toxins, and also you're increasing your conductivity. The more water you pull it into your body, the more energy and electricity you're able to receive through your crown chakra that's able to travel through your body. You become more of an antenna for the divine in order to channel and clearly hear those channeled messages, because otherwise, if your body's too polluted, you may not be able to hear or integrate them as intended. Okay, your Lenormand card is the anchor. We have more ocean symbolism here, but number 35. I feel that again with the masculine lunar god, the self-reliance. There's this strength and stability and grounding, again with the 3 of coins. It's like you're dropping anchor on a place, or planting your flag and claiming it as your own. You're setting up shop somewhere. You're no longer adrift in a sea of unknowing or uncertainty. This is you making a firm commitment and statement by putting your foot down, perhaps, some of you. And finally, we'll end with this Journey of Love card. Let the feminine lead the way. Again, we're getting continued themes of balance, masculine and feminine, with this Libra time frame. Let's see what the 39 has to say. The feminine principle in you, whether man or woman, is the way forward in your life now. She is the principle of feeling and of surrender. She feels the intelligence of the divine guiding light in a way that the masculine principle cannot at this time. You may not see where you're going, therefore, but you can feel your way forward. Trust her. Let your mind go and let the senses lead you, becoming more exquisite and communicative. Be led by your heart. Don't worry if you don't know all the details yet or how it's going to work out. She knows the way. Let her lead. This oracle brings confirmation to you that what you have been feeling or sensing, even without any logical physical evidence, is worth following up on. Trust your senses over appearance. Trust your intuition over your intellect. You are letting feminine wisdom guide you, and she will steer you in the best direction. That really resonates with the Two of Swords card that I was talking about in the introduction, is letting your heart guide you, getting out of your mind, not using your two physical eyes, but your third eye, which is connected to your heart and your intuition, feeling your way forward in the darkness. So while you have these strong boundaries and masculine principles of protection and action, this is also telling you that you have to take action from your heart, from a place of knowing your truth. And maybe that's what the boundary is. You're setting up limitations in your mind from other influences. You're being more assertive, direct, sure of yourself. There's like a huge confidence burst that is allowing you, it's safe to then allow your feminine essence to lead the way. Whereas in the past, it may have been damaged or taken advantage of by being open and loving and caring, or, you know, not having those boundaries that the masculine principle establishes. But this then is telling you, after that's been established, once you've drawn your lines in the sand and saying, this is my path, this is my destiny, no one else can shake me, then you have the confidence to allow your feminine nature to take over in order to lead you into this self-reliance. Okay. And finally, we're going to get 3 Making Magic cards. These are little sigil cards that you can use in working magic, or in my case, enhancing a reading. So let's see what comes up for pile 2. Okay, underneath I was guided to look at that. Wishes come true. Rapid achievement of your dreams and wishes. And first we have Spirit. Heavenly assistance from your angels and guides. And then this symbol, of course, is the masculine phallus and the feminine chalice, as illustrated here in the womb card. So as above, so below. And we have Abracadabra with wings, fantastic good fortune, and lucky chances. Neat. And finally, happy love, a joyful, stable partnership, and good friends. Okay, I did mention in the beginning of this reading that some of you, this is surrounding partnership here with Venus in Cancer, the Two of Cups. There is some joyful, stable partnership or good friendship, something very compatible that, you know, you have to be yourself in order for this person to show up, or this opportunity to show up. It's like, if you just stay in your lane, vibrate where you are, true to who you are, that's going to attract a compatible person, right? They're going to definitely pick up what you're putting down and just help you and say, hey, I want to be a part of this. You know, let's build something together. Some of you could be moving toward a body of water, maybe traveling over bodies of water with the Fool card there. So that could mean over oceans, rivers, lakes, something, in order to bridge this partnership. Okay, that's all I have for you today, pile 2. Thank you so much for tuning into this reading. I hope you enjoyed it. If you feel called to another pile, please do so at this time. Timestamps are below, and we'll catch you on the next reading. Thanks. Bye. All right, and finally, pile number 3. You chose Berkano or Bjork, the third rune that I randomly chose. This means birch tree, which have deep roots and connection to the source of life, which is Mother Earth. It can stand for the bride or the mother. We have the symbolism of the bee, indicating like a pregnant woman with full breasts. So there's something fullness here that's ready to be birthed. It brings earth power for rebirthing. Birch trees grow in cold climates at high altitudes and harsh conditions, but they survive. They perpetuate life. They have a white bark, which is a shaft of light in a shadow of a forest. All the other tree trunks are brown, but the birch tree stands out brilliantly with its white bark. Also aspen trees. A white maiden at the edge of the snows can be interpreted as a symbol of Frigg, who is the queenly goddess who bestows gifts of sovereignty. All right. So that goes in hand with that theme of independence. With the new moon solar eclipse in Libra, the sign of partnerships, some people might be breaking free, establishing independence or sovereignty. So we're going to start with the Queen of the Moon Tarot. Oh, wait. I actually want to read about Berkano or Bjork. So it is the rune of the earth who receives the sacrifice seed and holds it within herself, guarding and nourishing it until the time has come for it to return to the world's outside again. It especially rules the birth process of spring. It can also be considered a rune of the Disser, which I don't know what that is. So, and page 182. So, Berkano or Bjork is a rune that one might expect to turn up at significant life passages. It seems to indicate birth and becoming, rootedness and feminine. It calls the bringing into being, the first protection given at childbirth, the first of the layers of fate to be laid down for the child's life. It is useful in all female fertility magic and women's mysteries. It hides the workings of other runes until their action is ready to be revealed, and is a rune of hidden transformation and growth. Oswin says it is a useful healing rune for women's troubles and menstrual problems and has great protective power, especially for girls. According to Willis, it is a rune of birth in the physical plane, nourishment, the relationship of mother and child, the female principle, and domestic matters in general. It suggests success in new enterprises or something beginning. Patterson feels it indicates healing, recovery, regeneration, new growth from old roots, because new shoots grow from the stump of a felled birch. Birch has some of the same pain-relieving qualities as willow. It may also point to a need for collection and conservation of energy, nurturance, and shelter. So it's very strong feminine earth energy for this rune. We're talking about planting seeds at a new moon solar eclipse, typically when you impress your will upon the void of the dark moon. And as it grows in energy to its full moon completion, that's when we see the harvest of these seeds. Now, eclipses can last up to 6 months till their corresponding alternate eclipse. So this new moon eclipse will resonate effects perhaps 6 months from now. And that would put us in the springtime in the northern hemisphere. So we're talking April full moon, if there's a lunar eclipse in that month. I'll have to look into it. But the seeds you plant now are powerful enough to start new beginnings. And there's fertility and fertile energy around you to support that growth. Okay? So we're going to start with the Queen of the Moon Oracle. We have attraction, the supermoon. This is a full moon. All right, so whatever it is that you put in now, again, is going to attract energy around a full moon. It could be as soon as the 2-week from now lunar eclipse, but I'm thinking more likely on the lines of 6 months from now. Again, speaking of the regrowth of trees in the springtime. But we'll see what the cards have for us. First tarot card is the Eight of Swords. Oh, another pile got this, but with a different tarot deck. Okay, that can be the mental prison of the mind, but I'll right away point out again that she's wearing a blindfold. And the Two of Swords card associated with this new moon eclipse also has a woman that's blindfolded. So it's again trusting your intuition. You know, don't listen to your mind. It can be misleading. You could be stuck in self-limiting beliefs. And this is telling you that your intuition knows the way out. She's not fully enclosed here by these swords. She can easily walk between them. But she may, in her mind, think that she's completely imprisoned. And next to that, we have Temperance. It's a card of Sagittarius. But Temperance is patience. It's also alchemy. Combining positive and negative forces in order to achieve a new element. This is transmutation of energy from dark to light. Her third eye is enlightened here, whereas, I was speaking of that being utilized. So once you remove, you don't need to remove the blindfold because you're trusting your third eye, not your physical eyes. In order to, what is the next step forward? What do I need to do? Temperance, again, also has her foot, one in the ground and one on the water. Rational mind versus emotional mind, but both are feminine principles. There's something being formed here, almost like in a crucible or a womb, as the rune speaks of. And, oh, that's right, your pile got 4 tarot cards. I only pulled 3 for the other. So here we are, the 4 Pentacles. There she is, planting seeds. She is taking her treasure chest and burying it in the ground for safekeeping. It's and what it's going to grow into is this kingdom in the background. So she's making wise investments now in order to build an empire, to use it to build an empire later. And then finally we have the Judgment card. Okay, so we have 2 angels in your reading. You might have guardian angels that you're working with. I believe Gabriel is the one pictured in the Judgment card, blowing his horn. But in the traditional deck, he's raising the dead. So again, that's speaking of a rebirth process, like we spoke of, the life returning to the earth in the spring after the dark winter. It's a resurrection. It's a calling. And I think it's Archangel Uriel in the Temperance card. Don't quote me on that. I might have to look that one up. Sorry. We also have the Syrian starseed, the Chariot. Okay, Cancer. Movement, ascension, progress, upward and onward. So again, I feel very much of this resurrection energy, this uplifting, this leveling up, this transmutation of this darkness, of feeling in the dark and closed off, insecure. The 4 Pentacles can also speak of like financial insecurity and its shadow aspect, or the Miser card, somebody who holds on really tightly to all their physical assets out of fear that they're going to be without. So these swords, to me, again, the mental prison could be surrounding fear or fear of lack or loss. But this is encouraging you to take this energy. I mean, because where your thoughts go, energy flows. So if you're investing your energy and attention into these self-limiting beliefs, that's what you're going to attract here. Then you'll stay in your prison. But this is your opportunity to put your attention and energy into an alternative path or an alternative future in order to watch it grow into something greater than you could ever imagine. And that's what the Chariot card's indicating, is like rapid growth and ascension and movement forward. But you really can't do that. The Chariot card typically has a black horse and a white horse, or a sphinx of each color. Again, we're working with polarity, as in the Temperance card, the 2 cups, balancing back and forth, and integrating that energy into the middle path. Okay, which is what Libra and the 2 of Swords, the Justice card, and the High Priestess are all about, which I discussed in the intro. Okay, so in order to ascend, in order to get to these higher places, we need this foundation of darkness. The light is nothing without the dark to compare it to. So let's go ahead and look at your archetype cards. Ooh, the seed. Wow, this is awesome. So the rune was the birch tree, right? And the 4 Pentacles I described as planting seeds. So this is number 66. Let's read about that. All right, the beginning, the origin, the pearl. Beginnings come in many forms. They are not always a beautiful seed placed intentionally in nourishing soil. Origin stories, like any birth story, are complex, surprising, multi-layered, and usually reveal a central image or detail that represents the fully formed being. Simply stated, the end is present in the beginning, or the entire oak tree resides within the acorn. Whether you follow this imaginal theory or not, Know that when this card appears, there is potent generative energy all around. It stirs your very insides and usually results in an antsy, impatient feeling. Pay particular attention to what agitates you, as it is a sure sign of growth to come. You're bumping up against a growth edge. It is from the grit that the pearl eventually comes to be. So that really does play into that dark and light balancing aspect. Be grateful for the darkness. It shows you the way and where the light is. It helps you see the light more clearly. So you've outgrown a certain situation. You're ready for the next phase of your life. And I mentioned the Judgment card was a resurrection. It's a rebirth of self. And the birch tree analysis, it was like, the fresh branches grow from the stump of a felled birch tree. So, and this is the cross section of a tree. This is really incredible. And in the intro, I did mention the Vedic astrology, the nakshatras, the lunar mansions, that this eclipse is occurring in is the 15th one, whose image is a young sapling, a young tree. So there's a lot of growth that is available to you at this phase. And again, be mindful of what it is, that the energy that you're putting in, because that's what you're attracting. I didn't read about this yet. Let me read about the attraction card after this. But finishing up the seed, one of the alchemist's favorite images was the pearl. The irritant over time becomes the treasure. What is your grit? So what is that irritant in your life that forces you to grow? Get you out of your comfort zone. It's time to, and you ever see like a plant grow up between the cracks of the pavement? Underground, it's fighting its way up. It runs into this concrete wall. What does it do? It bends to the right or the left, finds the opening and pushes through. This is like just a huge growth point for you. And that's what the chariot symbolizes too, that overcoming of adversity. So the symbolism of the seed, also generative, fertile, germinating, and building. The true seed is elusive. If we follow any story toward its origin, it spirals farther and farther back in time. In this way, we are always the seed and always the fruit it bears. So yeah, within a seed is unlimited potential. It's full, it's an entire acorn tree is present in one acorn. It has the ability to spawn millions of trees, a forest. Getting the image of that Russian doll, where like a nesting doll where one's inside the other, and it just keeps going and going into infinity, like a fractal zoom pattern, if you've ever seen those videos. But it's just an endless deep connection, that you're not the only tree in the forest. You have connections to other people, and that can help you build this future that you're working towards. Perhaps that's why with the symbolism of Libra and partnership, that you're being called to connect with other people, other seeds that have been through what you've been through. All right, I'm going to read about the attraction card. The supermoon. So it's not just a full moon, it's a supermoon. I guess when the moon is at perigee, when it's closest to the earth. Let's see, 44. You can be magnetic to others and attract the good things in life. You can repel what you no longer wish to attract. Be ready for opportunity. Avoid extremes that might cause negative imbalance in your body or your mind. Think of connections greater than yourself. I can attract what I wish and repel what I do not. A supermoon is a full moon that is closest distance from the earth to its revolutions. It is also referred to as perigee moon. The supermoon looks huge in the sky, and being so close to the earth, it influences the oceans more than normal. These changes in gravity and force are certainly noticeable, and for most people who follow the cycles of the moon and do magical workings aligned with them in its energy of supermoons, that is most important. If a normal full moon gives us an opportunity to have rocket power under our intentions, a supermoon greatly magnifies this energy into a supernova. If we are growing, we all want to attract experiences into our lives. This can be positive relationships, a lifestyle that suits us better, clarity, love, prosperity, creativity, the list goes on. Equally, we also perhaps wish to be able to repel the experiences we don't want. It is important then to not just know what we want, but to be able to recognize what we don't. Again, I spoke of like where your attention goes, energy flows. So don't focus on these self-limiting beliefs. Don't focus on the lack, on the negative, or else that's what you're going to manifest. Attraction isn't just about what we accept, but how we discern. blindly attracting everything we think of into our lives rarely makes us happy, but being focused about it does. And here we have the woman with the blindfold. This card also suggests that we think globally and for the whole. If you are making intentions on the supermoon, include one for the planet. Companion stone or metal is magnetite. Okay, so you're very magnetic at this eclipse. Your intentions are magnetic. They reach far. Like, this looks like a pebble thrown into a pond also too, like creating a ripple effect. You know, whatever action or energy that you put in at this eclipse is going to reverberate for humanity. It's not just going to affect your life. It's going to affect everybody around you. Okay, I have some more cards here that I've been neglecting. So we're going to go to the Mystical Wisdom Oracle. Face your fears. Release the power of fear. What did I say about fear? Maybe blocking you mentally from pushing forward, or fear of lack. So you got to let that go. Eclipse that out of your life, this cycle. And here her eyes are covered too. All right. Face your fears. Everyone experiences fear in some way. To triumph over your fear, you need to understand it, and only then can you release its power over you. Fear has a subtle way of showing you the dark side of yourself, immobilizing you, stealing your freedom and courage. Fear can also show you that something is worth fighting for and is an opportunity to build courage and a brave heart. The magic of nature and your angels will encourage you to overcome fear of things like change, loneliness, and the unknown. You can be brave to face these challenges. The mantra is, I have courage to overcome my fears. I mentioned your angels were present here too, in temperance and judgment. So they're trying to help you not be afraid. In our Lenormand card, okay, the home. The 4 again is showing up. And this is number 4. Pentacles. 4 speak of firm foundations. 4 corners create a square foundation of a house. Could be dealing with the 4th house of home. Some of you could be laying a brick of your new house, or investing in a new home for yourself. And we have the Goddess card is Sedna, infinite supply. You are supplied for today and all of your tomorrows. Yeah, have no fear of lack. It's here. Your angels will see to it that you are never without. Again, but it requires some cooperation on your part to set your mind and your intentions in that direction, that you've always had abundance and that you always will have abundance. Your dreams and goals are supported because it's serving not just yourself, it is serving humanity. Okay. And finally, our Journey of Love card, the Breaking, number 65. Okay. This is great, actually. I'm in love with this reading, pile 3. This is actually the one that I picked. I wasn't going to tell anybody, but it'll be our little secret that I picked this one. And it sounds crazy. Okay, story time, real quick. I picked these runes in piles yesterday, and I ran out of time. I didn't have time to record, so I put them each pile in a bag. I didn't look at the cards, but I had already researched the runes, and I knew that this one meant birch tree, right? And I'm hanging out with my significant other, and we're out shopping, and there were some, like, we were just in a candy store. We were having fun being kids, right? And there's like a wall of craft sodas. There are a billion flavors, like, you know, cotton candy and pink lemonade and Swedish fish and root beer. And one was birch beer. He picked birch beer. I was like, no way. So I knew that was confirmation for me that this was also a message for me. All right, so the breaking, number 65. You are breaking apart. You might not understand it at all. There is not so much to be understood, but the simplicity doesn't mean it is easy to endure. You may worry that you are going too far, that you may not recover or ever come back together again. But what can you do? Can you hold back from the divine love that calls you, that lures you to becoming all that you are, to remember your divine nature? Well, you could try, but for what purpose? Temporary rest before the storm at best. So take the rest if you need it, then dive into the storm. Let yourself be broken-hearted by the divine so that you can become your truth, become all that you are meant to be. It is better to have the heart broken so that it grows than to be broken-hearted by thinking that you must protect yourself from love. This oracle brings compassionate guidance that no matter what sadness or anger, despair or frustration you may feel, you are being pulled apart not by dark forces, but by the loving embrace of the divine, as it strips you of that which would keep you from your divine realization. Let go and break. It is going to be the making of you. Absolutely. It's like you're being pulled apart by forces of love. These swords are being removed, blindfolds being removed. And it's your angels doing, your guides doing the work. It's like we're cutting things out of your life, even though it might be scary, or some of you might be moving homes, or I don't want to say kicked out, but you're being called to relocate. And if this is frightening to you because you have to get rid of a bunch of stuff and you have to find a new place or find a new job, it's telling you not to be afraid. This is all by design. This is all perfect timing. So don't fight it. Go with the flow. I'm going to pull some of these Making Magic cards for you to wrap up this reading. And I'm real excited to take this journey with you, Pile 3. This is a lot of reassurance for me to abandon that lack mindset or any self-limiting beliefs. Okay, we're breaking out of that together. 2 and 3. So these Making Magic cards, we have Earth. Okay, ask the element of Earth for grounding, stability, and strength in times of chaos. Yeah, put down your firm roots here in the 4 coins and the seed. We're planting our ideas in reality. Next, fire. The element of fire heralds new life, renewed passion, and positive transformation. Yeah, what do they say? Trial by fire or forged in fire? Again, like this breaking energy. You know, it may seem like, what's that meme of the dog sitting in the house that's on fire? And he's like, this is fine. Yeah, that's kind of the approach you have to it. It's like with all this chaos, maybe, and burning and cleansing and crashing that's going on around you, it's not going to hurt you. It's just meant to free you. Okay? And then we have breaking bad habits. Yeah, with the breaking. Self-acceptance, excellent mental health, and letting go of vices, letting go of fears. Maybe your vice is fear. So, and doubt and defeating, yourself. So this is a great time for cleansing, releasing, healing. Just think about, write down these things. Some of you might want to write down on the things you want to release, burn them with fire, release it to your angels to let it be carried to your guides, and have them take it away. And underneath the deck, I have water. So we have earth, fire, and water here now showing up. But work with the element of water for healing, purification, and refinement. I mentioned, I think in pile 2 that, drinking more water might be beneficial, again, for detoxing, hydrating, increasing your conductivity or your connection with the divine. Because we live in an electric universe and all is electricity. We're electromagnetic beings. So the more water you have in your vessel, the more conductive you are to receive those messages and signs from your guides. All right. Thank you so much for joining me, Pile 3. I really hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. We'll see you next time in the next reading. Take care. Bye.